Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 9. This week, I actually tried to record the audio at the same time when I was doing the workout, and I was using my Apple AirPods, and that did not work at all as intended. We had so much background noise, and it was just too quiet overall. So I'm not going to use it. I'm going to do it like this, use my Rode microphone instead. And it's going to look like I'm yapping away on the video. And, we just have to accept that since I was doing that. And that's my neighbor cat. He's going to join us in the beginning of the workout. Okay, so the format looks like this. We have 6 exercises and we're going to do them 2 times. But first, we have a warm-up exercise, which is fitting enough cat-cow. So just, go ahead and place yourself with all fours down and step into some cat-cows. This neighbor of ours is called Maximus, and he's been so loving towards both me, Axel, and Eli ever since we moved in. He always comes out to hang out and he says hello in the window, and he comes in to sit on our terrace. He's like everywhere and he always wants to be patted. You're gonna see that it's freaking impossible to get him to move. Oh, we're just so happy that he and Eli comes they're so close. But maybe right now I would have wished that he wasn't really this close. But don't worry, he's going to move in a minute or so. All right, a couple of seconds more in cat cow. And the next one will actually be a all fours with lifted knees. So you're going to stay in this position and just simply lift the knees up. So do that now. My daughter Kai is sleeping on the terrace as well. So during this exercise, I try to be rather swift, so it's not going to be a too long workout. I think we're about 15 minutes of a session today. And if you have a cat nearby, give it a kiss. And even though it's like an easy move, you still really get the heat going, right? That's what I love about that one. All right, finish it up. And the next one will be a move that I like to call step in, step out. You will still be on all fours, but you will be on your hands and toes. So lift the knees up, and then you simply step the feet in and out one at a time. I started with my left, followed by the right, and then step them back as well. If you do have a cat nearby, try not to step on the cat's tail. I almost did. Maybe that was why he eventually actually did move. All right, so try to keep the hips as stable as possible. And stepping in, stepping out. And you can do rather big steps if you want. I actually thought that mine were bigger than they look. But, it doesn't matter as long as you draw your navel in towards the spine and keep, an active upper body. All right, finishing up, moving into exercise number 3, which is gate pose on the left side. So just bring your right foot out and then step the left foot back and come into gate pose. You can either just keep your foot on the ground for support. You can also play around with lifting it up and keeping it flying in the air, or play with leg raises like I do. It's all just for fun, so choose the one that you feel is a little bit challenging, but not too much. Make sure to lift the hip up. So remind your right hip to lift. That's that. Finishing up the gate pose, and we are moving into a side plank on the same side. Starting now. Decide for yourself if you want to do them from the hand or the elbow. You can also modify and set the knee down for a supported plank. Right about now, in 9 weeks postpartum, it could be a good idea to set the knee down. But if it feels like, yeah, I can do it, then try both and decide which one you want to do today. Here, at least I tend to sink. Like my hip just tends to sink as I do the exercise. I just remind myself to lift it up all the time. Wrapping up. Shake out the hips, no, shake out the wrists if needed, and then step into plank position and prepare for a move I like to call tripod. So plank position and lift the right leg. Then you crunch towards the right elbow. Step it back, crunch towards opposite elbow, step it back, and then crunch towards the nose. So that's 3 points, and then that's a rep. So we're doing the right leg to right elbow, back again, right leg to opposite elbow, back again, and then right leg to the nose. So we're not shifting legs at all throughout this exercise, and we're going to keep on going for a couple of seconds more. I forgot to mention that before, but every exercise is 40 seconds. Doesn't really matter when I'm cueing, but just so you know. So we're finishing up, shaking out the wrists. And then we're heading into round 2. And the first exercise was the all fours with knee lifts. So hovering all fours. For me, this felt really heavy on my wrist. I actually have an injury on one of my wrists, so sometimes that's better and sometimes it's a little bit worse. And today was a hard day. All right, moving into all fours with knee lifts now. Draw the navel in towards the spine. My daughter is sleeping on the terrace. A little bit, you can see an orange pool in the background, so that's where she's sleeping. I tried to make this exercise a swift one because I never knew, I didn't know if she was going to wake up or not. I'm curious of yours, where are they? How are they feeling? If you could comment in the comment section, I would be so happy to hear about them. All right, finishing up and moving into step in, step out. So back on all fours, lift the knees up and step in, step out, man. 40 seconds. Set the knees down. That was the last time we did that. And here comes gate pose on the right side this time. So set the hands back down, bend at the knee, put the right foot far back down or far back, and come into gate pose. experiment with lifted knee or like lifted leg or leg raises. Lift from the waist up. Try to make yourself as tall as possible in this position. So you're like drawing or like stretching in all directions, both up, front, and back. Finishing up, shake what needs to be shook. And for me, that's the wrist. Maybe it's the hips for somebody else or the feet. Moving into side plank on the right side. So this time I actually tried the high variation. The first time I tried the elbow plank. But this one actually felt nice. I didn't think it would, so that's why I started with the elbow one, but I decided to challenge myself and it felt better than I thought. So I'm sticking with the high variation for today. And just a reminder, lift the hip up. Strong foundation. Pull yourself up from the ground. It's very easy to just, hang in that pose. All right, that's it. Last one, tripod. So up to plank position, and then this time we're going to lift the left foot up and crunch towards the left elbow, and then the opposite, the right elbow, and then to the nose. So left to left, back, left to right, back, and left to nose. Breathe. If you want, you can breathe in when you kick back and breathe out when you crunch. Or just, follow a steady breathing. And remind yourself to stay as firm as possible and draw the navel up towards the spine. I actually felt like this session was both targeting the core and the arms. I was so tired in my arms afterwards. All right, time to cool down. That was the last of round 2. So we just have one cool down pose and it's Sphinx pose. So get down on your belly, put your palms down and your elbows straight beneath your shoulders and push yourself away from the ground using the whole hand and the forearms. I actually push a lot from my forearms to lift the chest up and look straight ahead. So the legs can be rather relaxed, but you're really pushing yourself up to like a proud belly position. And this is really, really good to just counter what we just did with all the crunching and the, shortening of the core muscles. So opening up the abdominals, opening up the chest. It's also just a really nice pose in general. So just enjoy it. And that was it for this week. I can actually hear my daughter waking up in the background. That's why I'm very, very quick to say goodbye now. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. And do subscribe to be notified of the next episode coming out. Bye, guys.